905.
Both of these pilots, Leo, have experienced flameouts on fighter aircraft in the past. A flameout meaning the engine has gone dead, and they have landed these high-speed aircraft as they will be landing this one today.
That's right. Well, most military pilots practice flameout approaches, so it's nothing new to land an airplane without any power on it. As long as you have sufficient energy and altitude and airspeed to make the runway, the airplane flies perfectly normal, and should be no problem at all with the flameout approach today, because throughout the entire profile, Fred's going to be in good position to make a safe landing on the lake bed from any place in his trajectory.
And he's got plenty of room. This is not your run-of-the-mill commercial or military airport here. The runway runs at least 7 miles long. The touchdown point is about 2.5 miles into the runway, so he's got 5 miles and then some out in front of him.
He's got plenty of underrun and plenty of overrun, and he can land crossways if he'd like, if necessary.
You know, Leo, the other night...
2 minutes, 41 seconds from pushover.
Pushover is that point at which the 747 and the Shuttle will be at their maximum altitude. Then the 747 does push over into a dive so that it is diving at a -6-degree angle, so that the Shuttle sitting on top of the 747 is parallel to the ground. I think I've got that right, Leo.
The attitude is parallel to the ground. That's correct.
You know, you kept reminding me the other night of several things, and you said several times the brakes. This is the first time they are going to try the brakes.
That's right. Normally in an airplane, you do some taxi tests and braking tests before you fly it. But with the Shuttle, this has not been possible. So today will be the first time that pushover -2. Today will be the first time that Fred has had a chance to really control the airplane during a rollout and do braking and nose wheel steering.
Houston, Mission Control. The control center that controlled our flights to the moon is controlling this mission. And you're hearing 2 voices from Houston. The capsule communicator, he still retains that name, even though there is no capsule in this space shuttle, is Bo Bobko, the United States Air Force, a colonel. He is an astronaut. And the other voice is the voice of Mission Control, Jack Riley.
Mort, this shot is coming from Chase 4, which is...
Stand by for pushover -1.
Chase 4 is flying about 1,000 feet off the right wing, so this is probably the best view in town of the separation.
And I think we ought to explain what chase means, Leo. There are a couple of T-38 planes up there, maybe as many as 5. I saw 3 take off earlier, and they are following this flight pattern all the way.
And Enterprise, Houston is go for pushover.
Go for pushover. You're going to see the 747 dip its nose down.
Up to launch heading.
And after,
we should see a nice positive separation with a very rapid clearance of the 747's tail.
Okay, Enterprise is set. Thanks for the left, Ed.
You bet.
About 38 seconds after pushover is achieved, separation will be achieved. Again, pushover is the high altitude, the highest altitude at which this configuration is flying. The 747.
We're coming up on 4 seconds to pushover.
Let's listen in.
2, 1, pushover.
Houston copies pushover.
The 747 is now running into a dive. The Shuttle should be parallel to the Earth.
Accelerating now at airspeed 205.
At 270, you'll do the SEP.
Altitude 27.
27,000 altitude. Separation comes at 21,700 feet, give or take a couple of feet.
2 lights, orbiter shuttle. Houston is go for SEP. Have a great flight.
Go for separation. It has never flown free before. This is the very first time.
You'll hear a launch ready as soon as the conditions are right for separation.
Launch ready.
There it is, and there it goes.
Beautiful separation, nice and clear.
Beautiful separation. And it's clear. The chase plane.
Light, lots of sync on 2, pushing over. And a big X on computer number 2.
And it will roll to the right.
Roger, stand by and halt on GPC number 2.
This has never happened before. It is flying on its own.
203.
And Leo, they'll have a quick...
Flying good.
Flying good is the report.
They lost one computer in SEP, but this is not a problem. We have 4 computers for the primary flight control system.
Now at about 20,000 feet, they will...
Fred Hayes conducting a practice landing at altitude now.
I was just going to say that, a practice landing at about 20,000 feet. In other words, they'll slow her down to their landing speed, which is about 185 knots, see how the shuttle feels to them, and then they'll pick up speed and come around. They're taking a race course, I don't know whether that sounds right or not, but they're following a race course pattern, and they'll be heading due north for about 9.4 miles. Then they'll take a big arc to the west for about 9 miles, and then heading home, a 9.4 mile trip to touchdown just behind us here at Edwards Air Force Base.
Okay, 11 Alpha, pushing over.
Yeah, Fred has
195 and 20,000.
Fred has 5 minutes to learn how to fly this airplane before he lands it.
That's right, 5 minutes to touchdown. It doesn't sound like so much, but it is when you're flying an aircraft for the very first time, Leo.
Enterprise Houston, we show perhaps a slightly low L over D.
What is LOD?
That means he's probably going to have to turn base a little bit earlier because he's not going to have quite as much energy as anticipated. So he'll turn base a little bit early. He'll still make the landing touchdown.
Enterprise, you're cleared to start the turn.
Starting his turn to base now.
Okay, he'll be
It's
making...
really tight, Bo. In fact, I think it's a little better than the old STA field.
Great.
Fred Hayes is flying this aircraft. He is the commander, and he is in control.
Fullerton flying now.
Fred said it flies better than their training aircraft.
Well, that's good news. Kind of thing pilots like to know and hear.
Okay.
It's turning left. It'll make about a 180-degree arc, and then we'll be heading due south. Leo, when it comes in for a landing, it'll begin a descent.
48 minutes, 28 seconds past the hour.
It is descending now, and its rate of descent is about 4 times faster that of your average commercial airliner, but nobody is too worried about that. A commercial airliner could land at this speed with no trouble at all.
Maybe a little high.
Fred doesn't agree with the ground analysis.
30% speed brakes. Okay, board's coming open to 30.
They are high on energy, so he's opening his speed brakes a little bit sooner than normal to dissipate some of that excess energy he has.
Okay, the speed brakes open up because the shuttle is in a dive. The speed brakes will hold the speed back so that shuttle is averaging about 270 knots or 310 miles per hour.
Now they're going to 50% brakes. Normally they only go to 30 on this flight. But evidently he does have excess energy, so they're going to open to 50 to dissipate the energy, so the landing will be nominal.
Excess energy is a pilot's way of saying he's going too fast.
Too fast and too high.
Potential good.
Enterprise, we show 8 miles out, 9 potential. We'll leave you here. Okay.
Okay, looking good.
About 2 minutes to the landing, about a minute and a half, rather.
280. Okay, why don't you use yours until we get a little lower?
Leo, the rate of speed right now, the rate of descent is about 4 times what a commercial airliner uses, and his speed is about 2.5 times as he approaches the runway. He'll land at about 185 knots or 212 miles per hour. A DC-9 would land at about 130 knots or 150 miles per hour, and it's looking beautiful. We should be able to eyeball it from our perch just beyond the runway here at Edwards Air Force Base.
Fido says it looks super.
It looks super.
I have him on the glasses, Mort, now.
Okay, we've got him. He's coming in. Should be about, what, 3,000 feet up there now, Leo?
Pre-flare.
Yeah, he's at
Speed brake's coming in now.
he's at the pre-flare, so he's flaring now onto a
Okay, the
1.5 degree glide slope.
The flare will slow him down for the landing. A pre-flare, then will be a flare. That means he's lifting his nose up to slow the shuttle down.
Coming down at 270.
He looks beautiful.
Putting the gear down just a little bit fast, but
This
he's got
is
some
only-
excess energy.
Only the second time the gear has come down.
Gear looks good.
They are locked into place.
40 feet.
This has never been attempted.
20.
And
50,
it is
10. Holding 10.
just about
220, about 5 feet. 4 feet. Getting some dust. 4 feet. 3
down,
feet.
down,
2 feet.
and it's down.
Just over off about 2
It's
feet.
down. It has landed,
You're on.
and it looks beautiful.
Okay, your nose wheel's about 10 feet.
It'll take about 30 seconds before it rolls to a halt. Leo, that was absolutely letter perfect from my view at
4,
least.
3, 2, 1.
Nose gear down.
We'll see you, babe.
He now steers it with the rudder. Stays on the runway with the rudder. He's got his speed brakes are fully open.
Leo, in the event anybody's concerned about what appears as smoke on the screen, that's really sand. This lake bed does not have an artificial surface over it, and that is sand being picked up by the shuttle. The 5-minute and 10 or 20-second flight has been a success. The two astronauts have reported that they are okay, and the mission appears, at least from our point of view, to have been perfect, Leo.
Yeah, it was beautiful. He was a little bit fast and high, and he touched down a little higher further down the runway, but the touchdown was a very low sink rate.
Okay, Leo, let's just listen in. Perhaps we can hear from Fred Hayes or Gordon Fullerton, the two astronauts on board that shuttle. Yes, they're not saying much.
They're going to roll out very gently. They're not going to brake to a sudden stop. They want to check out the nose wheel steering the last 60 knots of the velocity, so they'll take their time getting it stopped.
Leo Krupp, are you now satisfied those brakes worked?
Everything worked. It was beautiful.
Just the way you flew it in the simulator those many times.
He did inadvertently get a little high on energy, but other than that, the flight was perfectly nominal.
Just to repeat, the shuttle did not go into space today. This was the very first time it flew by itself. It was launched from atop a 747 jumbo jet at about 21,000 feet, flew 33 miles, took a bit over 5 minutes, and came into a safe landing here. There were no engines on board. It was a glider, acted like a glider, was flown like a glider, and was a successful glider.
Congratulations, it was a beautiful flight. We got about a quarter knot, and we just stopped.
Just came to a stop now.
Okay, Leo, and the next time we'll see this vehicle fly, we expect, will be in the last week of August. I think they have penciled in an August 30th date for the next free flight. And Leo, this successful flight did not answer two major questions: the controversy over whether the $6.9 billion shuttle project is worth it, and whether there will be a need for the hundreds of space flights necessary to amortize the cost, as NASA says there will. But the flight was never intended to answer those questions. It answered at least three others, though. Yes, the shuttle can fly like a glider. Yes, it can land like one. And yes, once the shuttle landed, the brakes, Leo, did work. Leo Krupp, thank you. This is Morton Dean and Leo Krupp at Edwards Air Force Base, California.
Breakfast! American children really have a lot. But according to the U.S. government, almost 50% of all the children in this country fail to get their recommended daily allowance of vitamin C. That's why I'm glad my children love the taste of Tang Instant Breakfast Drink. Each glass contains a full day's supply of vitamin C.
Sure tastes good after a night in the wilderness, Mom.
Look for Tang in the convenient new 9-quart canister.
It's here, the simplest camera you ever used. Polaroid's new one-step. The only thing you touch is the button. You never focus. Long shots, close shots, any shots. Just point it and press the button. The motor hands you SX70 pictures that develop in minutes, automatically. Polaroid's new one-step. You never focus, and it's only $39.95, motor and all. Take the one-step.
This portion was sponsored by Polaroid's One Step, the motor-driven instant camera you never focus. This has been a CBS News special report. Space Shuttle, the first voyage. This is CBS.